Hello, hi, Neil Adler. I want to share some tips for maintaining your chromatic harmonica. These instruments are actually quite fragile, and many people have difficulty keeping theirs in good play. It's not practical to send it in or economical every time there's an issue. So I want to show you the simple things that usually go wrong that you can address without a lot of expertise. The most common thing is that the slide will catch or bind or even lock up. And that's a function of saliva and dirt and other material binding to the slide. When you clean it, use a tabletop with a cloth on it so the parts don't take off and disappear. Very useful is a tray like this so that I loosen my slide mechanism and just drop it off into the tray and then deal with the components one by one. When you clean it, make sure you have a flat surface so you don't bend it. Here is a plate from a portrait that I use. You can use a piece of granite or a piece of wood if it's sufficiently flat. I like to clean my slide with alcohol, but you can use soap and water. You can actually soak it in soap and water and then rub it here, and that will take care of it. The gremlin of the slide assembly is the bumper, and these bumpers are shock absorbers that buffer the slide hitting the mouthpiece screw and also add a little resilience to the action. But they get beat up over time and they deteriorate and get squashed and cut, and then they catch onto the slide. So take a look at yours. Here's one I just took out, and I think if you can see it, you can see that it's got notches on both sides, and this is deteriorating, and it's working now, but it will fail, so I would replace it now. You can buy replacement bumpers from the manufacturers. SEYDEL will sell you 2 for 75 cents. Hohner costs you 3 times that for some reason, and Suzuki costs you 5 times that. People have adapted all kinds of things, and I have also. You can use 12 or 14 gauge wire insulation, and that will work. You can use shrink wrap tubing, and that will work. And you can use coffee stirrers cut to length, and that will work, although they're kind of clicky and loud. My preference is silicone tubing. I buy it online by the meter. This has a 2 millimeter internal diameter, 3 millimeter outside diameter, and I cut it to 7 millimeter length, and I keep them so that whenever I need a bumper, I have them and can easily replace it. Okay. The next kind of problem you might get is that a note doesn't sound with light play. It takes force to get it to sound, then it pops on. There's a delay, or there's a vibration when it plays. These are valve problems, and what happens is the valve gets sticky and the two parts get welded together. So most companies have a two-part slide, two-part valve, the valve itself, and then a stiffener on the outside. That's the brown part. And when they get gunked up with protein material, they function like one unit and they don't move very easily. So cleaning them is relatively simple. You cut a piece of paper that has a little friction to it, not plasticized paper, but 3x5 card or brown paper bag, and then you slide it under the, if you can, the valve. Not too far, not too hard, and then you give a little resistance as you slide it out. And then I also go between the stiffener and the valve and do the same thing. And when I have one valve that's a problem, when I take off the cover plates, I basically go through and do them all, and it's very easy, and this usually rectifies the problem. Okay. The last problem is you may have a note that suddenly becomes dead, or it becomes very breathy. And this may be a problem in the gap. The gap can change over time, I found. The gap is the distance between the reed plate and the reed. And you can see there's a little space here. You could actually measure it with these feeler gauges if you wanted to. They should all be about the same, but sometimes they will change position. If the reed is in line with the reed plate, it won't sound at all. There has to be a gap. And if the gap is too big, it will be breathy. So you can try massaging the reed like this. I have dental tools that I use just to add a little bit of motion to open the gap very gently. And they'll actually take quite a bit of force before they move a lot, but these are small motions. Or you can bring it down to decrease the gap. Pro players usually like to set their gaps in a specific way, so they're very expert at doing this. You don't have to be expert. You want to get it within a close range, and then they will all sound normally. So that's something to check. Also, sometimes something catches in the reed, and all you need to do is what we call plink it to get it to sound again. So those three things will take care of most of the problems that you'll come across. And if you are careful and you have the right setup, I think you'll succeed in managing to keep your harmonica playing well. All right, take care. Stay out of harm's way. Bye-bye.